Welcome back, everyone. Here I have a different kind of video for you today. With the treasure cup coming up, I wanted to explore each leader, and I wanted to show you a different ways that you can play the deck, and give you the tools to you can choose the deck that best fit your game style. Because sometimes you're playing a deck and it doesn't fit right, and it's because you're not playing it probably with the way that you are used to playing decks. For example, for me, I play a lot of control kind of decks, and I feel comfortable playing this kind of type of decks. And any kind of strategy, any kind of deck I approach it with that base thinking that I'm trying to go to a longer game. I'm trying to play it like a resource game. So the first deck that I have here, it's for Zoro, but this is a more aggressive Zoro. This is, as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 2 energy, basically 4Ks attackers. I always play this one too, because you're trying to rush into the deck super early. You're trying to flood the board with like 2 energy attackers. So then after you do that, let's say that's another thing with this deck. You want to go second usually with this kind of strategy, because your turn 2 you're gonna play a 2-drop. Your turn 2 you're gonna play 2 2-drops, and then after that you're gonna play like 1 or 2 rushers to complement already your board. And the idea is to overwhelm your opponent with attackers, so whether they cannot get rid of all of them, and you're gonna be able to attack twice with all of them. So that's the whole idea of the deck. Like, get to the board super fast and attack with the rushers, and have a very nice 2 turns in a row where you can get to attack the opponent's leader super hard. It's gonna put you in an advantageous space where you can easily close the game at the end, depending on what the opponent does through those turns. So the main thing about this deck is trying to keep a 2-drop going second, and then cards that I like to play, I would like them to hit me once or twice. That's why I like to play the Sanji here, even in turn 2, because you're trying to take your own life. You want to be a 2 or 3 life usually with this leader when you're trying to do this strategy, so you can defend your board and you can attack as many times as you can attack with the board once you have it established. So that's the main thing about it. You're still trying to remove the opponent's board. You're still trying to remove attack their leader. But the idea is to have more cards than your opponent can deal with, and have them repeatedly attack each turn. So that's the whole idea behind this deck. Another card that I'm playing here as a one-off is the Round Table, because if you blow everything, if you use your jet pistols and maybe a blocker, maybe a basil, there are cards that need to get answer, another Nico Robin. So this card is just a 1-card answer to the 8-drop, basically, against the green decks, which is gonna be sometimes your worst matchup, depending on how they play. That's one thing about this leader. It's a little all about this way of playing it. It's a little bit weaker to tappers, for example Izo or Nekomamushi, because they're gonna be able to tap your 2-drop, attack it, and they already have a card that they can attack your 4Ks with. So those kind of cards affect this strategy really hard, because your cards are not gonna have too much attack, and you're deploying your hand. So if they're attacking your battle cards, they're not attacking your leader, and you're not gonna have enough resources to either defend the battlefield or have a wide enough board to just being able to, as I'm saying, attack twice with this deck. That's basically the whole idea behind it. You still have your staples on Zoro, in my opinion, which are Nami and Yura. These cards give the deck so much late game or mid game advantage that you want to still play them. It pairs perfectly with the leader. And I'm still playing 10 rushers. So as I'm saying, I'm trying to float the board with 2Ks and have 1 or 2 rushers to complement that. And I like guard pointing this one, because you're not gonna be at 2 lives, so you don't want to play the one that gets plus 4K when you are 2 life or less. You don't get there usually that easily. And this one, 3k power, it's really good. It catches people off guard, because usually the best numbers is either 7k or even 8k sometimes against 7k against the 5ks, right? If they attack your Zoro and they want you to pitch 2 cards, like a 2k and a 1k, they attack you for 7, right? But instead of doing that, instead of having to pitch 2 cards, you get to do it with guard point, and it's more efficient that way. It's really a really good card for this kind of strategy where you're trying to defend your board as efficiently as possible, and you're still playing your jet pistols to get rid of their board and keep attacking with everything that you have. Like, try to minimize the amount of attacks you do to their board. Instead of doing that, you're just attacking the leader as much as you can, as much as possible. And usually you just want to attack with 5k or 7k. 6k is kind of a fake number in this game, because there's too many 2k counters, and just spending more energy to go to 6, it's kind of like wasting your energy at that point. So you either want to attack with 5 or with 7, and if you're forced to attack with 6, well, so that be the case. The disadvantages of playing this kind of rush strategy is that like 6k blockers are really good against you also, because you are trying to attack for a lot of 5ks, and that's just like, it's counterproductive to what you're trying to do. But that's what you save the pistols for. So this is the first way to play this deck. Let's look at the next one. And here for our second version of the deck, I have a more threat heavy Zoro list, where actually it changes to going second to this one actually wants to go first. You could also play more of this card in 2 years, because your turn 1 plays is either Nami or that one or a blocker. So you do want to play something on turn 1, and this one helps you find a curve. If you already have a Zoro, you find a Luffy. If you have already a Robin, you get to find another 5 or another 3, something else to fill the curve. This card helps with that. So you could play this one and more if you want to. I opted to play a double jumble, but I'm not even in love with this card. But it's good to have it as a one-off maybe. It's not a horrible card. I'm playing this deck wants to go first and wants to develop more aggressive threats like Nico Robin. They want to develop a Law. You want to develop a Luffy actually on curve. You don't even care that you don't have to establish a board. You just want to develop these like heavy threats early on. Use them like a bait for blocker. They want to attack them. You want to take at least one or two life, usually with Zoro, always. But this way, they focus on your cards instead of your leader, and then eventually you're gonna be able to play a Shanks because you're gonna be healthy enough. Like all your cards are gonna be trading for their board, and you're gonna be healthy enough to play a Shanks, and Shanks is gonna take over the game. So that's the whole idea. You can even play more Shanks if you want to. The problem is that in multiples in your hand, they're going to be bricks and hard bricks. But the idea is that if you play more Gordons, you're going to be able to play more Shanks because you can get rid of them easily and not have that many, not have that problem. If that's what you want to do, you can do that. I just like to not oversaturate my hand with 10Ks that don't do that is not designed. My deck is not designed to just play these kind of cards in multiples. And another nice thing about this deck is I'm playing a little bit more combo power and more targeted combo power. You can use this Red Hawk to remove something and get do something else with your energy instead of using it for heavy attacks or just deploying more cards. You just can use it to defend your cards more efficiently and get rid of something else. You can even pump it up a little bit more. I like this card a lot in this deck, so you can even play less of the guard points, although this card is still good in this deck because again 3k is efficient against any deck. And the best cards of the deck are Nami and Yura because it allows you to keep going. They kill your Robin, they kill your Zoro, get it back, have it rush it again, and add an Ura on top of that. Get a 2k, get a blocker. This is the way that you can loop your blockers in the late game. Add a threat, play a blocker, and keep going with your turn. The Red Hawks are just trying to buy you time and trying to get rid of those cards, but you do have more minusing effects in this leader. So on turn 8 you can actually combine these two to remove basically an 8k or lower. So that's a really nice thing to have in the deck. And yeah, this deck is it's more straightforward in the sense that you wanna just play your dudes, and you're not trying to overwhelm your opponent with too many cards. Rather, you're trying to play better cards that you can either decide to defend or not, but you're trying to have them be in the attack and the blocker for a turn. So it gives you enough time to get a chance, get like one of these ending cards. This is another way to play the deck. If this is more your style, you should try it. You can try also a hybrid of these two decks, where you can play maybe more 2Ks, more of the 4 mana 2K, 2 energy 2Ks, just to try to get into the board faster and still have a good threat on board. That's another way to play the deck, and still play like maybe a Shanks to use it as a card topper. And that's basically the two ways to play Zoro right now. We don't have too many cards, so there's no like 3,000 different ways to play Zoro that is good and efficient. So right now I just wanted to showcase these two decks that I think either or could make it to the Treasure Cup, and could be like they could definitely top A, and they can definitely do good if you are playing your deck efficiently and you're playing your deck how you're supposed to play it. So that's the new that's it for today. If you really like the content, please let me know. If you want me to do more of these kind of videos, please let me know, because I don't know if this is something that you guys want to see. But I wanted to try, because I think each leader can be played different ways, and I wanted to showcase that, and I wanted to give you more options and just choose the decks that you feel more comfortable with. If you like Zoro, you can play absolutely Zoro. Like, there's no way to you don't have to play always the best decks, or you don't have to play. You can play the deck that you want to play, but just play it the way that you feel comfortable with. If you like it more aggressive, you like it more defensive, there is a way to play with each leader, and that's what I wanted to show. Thank you for watching, and consider subscribing. Thank you.